Please enjoy our attractions. I'm terribly sorry they're so limited at the moment. I convinced my performers to come here, to spread high elf culture in these lands. Bring a little piece of Somerset to Grahtwood, you see? But the train bugs are sick, our magician supplies are missing, and our storytellers' stories fell flat. None of us know the area well enough to resolve these matters. Now we're a carnival, with nothing but a fortune teller. Huzzah! I'd gladly pay the coin provided by the Somerset Cultural Expansion Council to anyone who would help us put on the show. My performers can best explain their setbacks. Connor is our bug trainer, Norian, our storyteller, and Vindare the Magnificent is, well, she's magnificent. I have to describe her that way. It's in her contract.
Look at them. Limbs so sluggish and carapaces dreadfully dull. When you've raised the shocks since they were pupae, it gnaws at your heart to see them so listless. They're having trouble managing the local grass. So I've put them on an all-hay diet. And the climate. It's more humid than they're used to in Somerset. If I didn't know any better, I'd say they were homesick. When they were younger, I'd grind mudcrab eyes into paste and give it to them as a treat. I think it would raise their spirits again. But nobody sells mudcrab eyes. And I can't leave my shocks to fade away while I scour the coasts. I would forever be in your debt, my friend. A dozen would be enough to go around if you wouldn't mind. And I won't mind if they're a little mashed when I get them. Saves me some work.
I'm sorry, but I have nothing to say. That is my problem. I literally have nothing to say to these people. All my stories about the amazing deeds of long-dead high elves. The first rule of my profession is to know your audience, and Grahtwood is not a place to tell such tales. I planned to seek out wood elf stories in taverns and libraries, but since we arrived, I've heard of countless troubles in Grahtwood. The worm cult, pirates, wood elf rebels. It's all the same. I'd rather keep to the safety of the carnival. The wood elves rarely write their stories down. But I heard Scholar Glorolan in the Elden Root Mages Guild is the one to ask. If you're headed that way, would you mind asking for a book? It could be written in Old Akaviri for all I care. Anything would help.
I hope you didn't travel from far away just to see Vindare the Magnificent. I am not performing at present. My magic cannot function safely in front of a crowd. The, stars are out of alignment. Oh, did she? Did she also tell you how she promised that would make 10 times our normal take by coming to this godforsaken backwater? Did she mention how she said shipping my supplies wouldn't be an issue? The shipping was fine. It's the delivery where it fell apart. My belongings arrived at the docks of Haven without incident. But due to the recent problems in the city, no one has any idea when deliveries will resume. As far as I'm aware, yes. They're in the nicest looking trunk on the dock. I had it touched up by a painter in Matisse, you know. But with the pirate attack, who knows when Haven will be stable enough to deliver their backlog of shipments. I couldn't ask you to lug that heavy monstrosity all the way here. It's triple reinforced steel with an inch-thick lead interior. Discourages my competition from snooping. I just need the supplies inside, if you wouldn't mind, of course.
Good luck finding the mudcrab eyes. Only if you have the time. I realize it's not the most glamorous request. Would you look at that? Just the smell of the thing seems to have perked them up. I'll see if I can use them to motivate my little friends.
Do you have them? You have them, don't you? Oh, I shouldn't get my hopes up. They fell in the sea, didn't they? I knew it. I have the worst luck. Wonderful! That's everything I need. Once Haven gets its act together, they can deliver an empty trunk. You're welcome to stay for the show. Sit wherever you like. You won't regret it. Unless you hate stage performances. Then you'll regret it. But hopefully you'll enjoy it.
Hear ye and be inspired. I have heard the word of the Dread Lady, and those words have led me to you. I bring you greetings and a message from my lovely and powerful mistress. Prepare to be enlightened. Well, the greeting is actually from me. My mistress isn't big on the niceties of social interaction. The message, however, is definitely meant for you. You look just like the person she showed me in my vision dream. Relax, it was a perfectly innocent vision dream. An image in my head so I'd recognize you, you understand. She ordered me to deliver a letter. The one over there on that table, actually. May the blessings of the Dread Lady be upon you, chosen mortal. My mistress's letter waits over there. I had to put it down. For some reason, carrying it all this way made my skin itch and my head tingle, and not in a good way. Only you can read it, or so the Dread Lady informed me.
Add to my problems.
Please, listen to... Doom has come to Craglorn. The stars have vanished from the sky. Will no one listen? Will no one help? I'm an initiate in the Order of Stargazers. We study the stars and their influence on Tamriel. Not long ago, we noticed irregularities in 3 of the star signs. Shortly thereafter, strange armies overran Craglorn. One of our order, Hara, is leading our efforts to stop these attacks. But we are not warriors. This cart will take you to Belkarth in Craglorn, where you can speak to her personally. Please.
Hey, I'd recognize that bow anywhere. Where did you get that? Stork's dead? Sad news, even if he did steal this bow from me. It's a good thing you found it. I sort of owed it to a local tree thane. Long story. I hope you'll accept this for a reward.
I've heard tales of your valor at Esduin. Bravely done.
You're a bold one to approach so fearlessly. Give me a good reason to speak with you. I'll make it seem like you're here at my request. Otherwise, my subjects will think you cut the line and start sizing you up for dinner. How thoughtful. I could hardly turn down such a generous gift, especially with the trouble brewing in Eldenroot. How are you at building embassies? You see, Queen Irene promised one would be built for the Khajiit as a gesture of goodwill. But now a year has passed and there's still no Khajiit embassy. This has led to no end of headaches. Good question. You wish to serve the Comoran throne? You can start by asking Prince Naaman why his people aren't fulfilling their promises. He's the one who seems to have the entire Elden Tree lodged up his flue. I can say that. I'm the king.
Yes? Quickly now. Don't leave your mouth to hang agape. That again? My sister, Queen Irene, foolishly committed to build the Khajiit an embassy months ago. Everything was to be handled through Ambassador Tarinwe at the Ultima Embassy. No, you don't get to question me, not after you slew High Kinlady Estri. Do you think I'm one to have a chat with the person who killed my wife? That will break out the Sylphmead and share a good laugh? I suppose that's my burden. Very well, I won't give you the satisfaction of doubting my loyalty. You are asking after the Khajiit? Ask a stonemason. I have to prepare for the ratification ceremony before Queen Irene's arrival. I can't be troubled with such minor issues. If you care to pursue the matter, speak with Ambassador Tarinwe at the Ultima Embassy.
You're not one for waiting in lines, are you? Yes, how can I help you? My people mostly leave such matters to our spinners to share, rather than writing it down. I have something, but I can't imagine you'd want an Akaviri spy's writings on our heritage. A cultural infiltration document. Complete garbage. Really? You read Akaviri? Well, no matter. You're welcome to it. Let me see, I'll have a copy around here somewhere. A moment, please.
It was something I saw this morning. On a scroll, perhaps?
One flawed Akaviri depiction of my
people. To look for?
We'll find it. It must be around here.
I hope you find it as amusing as I did. You look like some...
What?
I suppose a wanderer like you wouldn't know what busy looks like. I will demonstrate. Feel free to observe, quietly and from a distance. Oh, forgive my manners. There's so much to do in preparing for Queen Irene's ratification ceremony. Tempers fray, as I'm sure you can understand. But if Prince Naaman sent you, it must be important. What can I do for you? Why would Prince Naaman care about that? If they are too lazy to build their own embassy, can't they afford an inn? Well, of course, I ordered it done. I hired some wood elves to excavate the stone and set aside supplies for Khajiit to use. It isn't my fault if the locals couldn't do their jobs. Check our storeroom. The Khajiit didn't even bother to pick up the supplies. In the meantime, I'm off to locate Prince Naaman. If he didn't send you here with his blessing, I'll see you face Dominion justice. We'll see what Prince Naaman thinks of your impertinent questions.
That's far enough. The storeroom is off limits. Ambassador Tarinway's orders. She did? That's different then. Show me her orders and I'll stand aside. Then I can't let you inside. Her instructions were very specific. No one gets in without her written permission. I'm to remain at my post until relieved. Except in an emergency, of course. The Khajiits could riot. That would be bad. Very bad. Or a fire, of course. But the chances of that happening are slim. I'm here on the ambassador's orders. I can't leave my post unless there's an emergency. About that much. I'd say that's worth a 5-minute stroll. Be about your business, citizen.
Where is the guard? And what are you doing here? I'd expected you would solve problems at the embassy, not cause them. Do you realize what's happening out here? Oh, never mind. Explain what you were doing in that storeroom. Why would she do that? Oh, never mind. Well, what did you find? Typical bureaucratic corruption. I expected better of the ambassador. No matter. Supplies can be replaced. What about the Khajiit embassy? Did she say why construction hasn't begun? What do you mean, collect stone? That should have happened months ago. They should be ready to build it. I'll talk to the ambassador myself. Put the fear of the Dominion into her. I'm surprised we didn't pass each other on the road. Get to those ruins and find that work crew. I want to know why they haven't done their jobs. I won't have Queen Iren's word impugned by someone else's incompetence.
You can't just pave the Grahtwood.
You there, we need to talk. Saw you standing over the body of a dead wood elf. Nearly put an arrow in your throat. Good thing I recognize you. Azerith, Bindusk Ranger. We work directly for King Camoran Eredon. Saw you earlier in the throne room. The king had his suspicions about the missing work crew and asked me to look into it. Seems we both have a stake in this. I know enough. Khajiit owed an embassy. They're angry the High Elves are dragging their... Saw you standing over the body. Azerith, I know enough. Khajiit owed an embassy. They're angry the High Elves are dragging their feet to build it. Seemed like politics until a dozen stonemasons vanished without a trace. The king sent me to find out why. The king suspects Ambassador Tarinway has been up to no good. Little things, some of her associations. But he can't accuse his allies of undermining the whole alliance. So he sent me to deal with it. Ambassador Tarinway used criminals to smuggle supplies. Never directly, but enough for us to notice. I'm not saying she had these stonemasons killed, but I'd like to ask her myself. Problem is, there's nothing we can do while she's in the Altmer embassy. If she left the embassy, she knows someone's onto her. She'll go to ground, try to flee. Have someone smuggle her out of Grahtwood. We should probably stop her. Meet me by the middens, at the base of the Elden Tree. I'll be there shortly. They call this place the Middens because it's where all the refuse ends up. We clear them out now and again, but they always come back. Necessary evil, I'm told. Spoke with someone I trust. She's definitely here. We should get moving. We're not far behind her. Capture her, bring her in for questioning. Find proof she's behind this so Prince Naaman doesn't explode with outrage. Never thought I'd hunt a High Elf ambassador. Smugglers, skooma addicts, and more than a few criminals. They keep to themselves, but sometimes they band together to repel outsiders. Kind of like a filthier version of the Dominion. Our goal is to find Ambassador Tarinway before she buys passage out of Grahtwood. Staying in the shadows, avoiding unnecessary conflict, that's what I'd do. But there's a lot of ground to search. I'll follow your lead.
Could you help me out?
Prince Naaman sent someone to the embassy. We have to leave before we're discovered.
Prince, it's too late! For the heretics!
On your feet! You're coming with me!
Why? Where are you taking me?
To King Camoran Eredon, where you'll answer for crimes against the Dominion.
You'll have me killed and served for dinner.
Only if you're proven guilty. And if you are, none of us could stomach you. Now get moving!
A few coins would suffice.
You've returned. What have you learned of the Khajiit embassy? Oh, good. Nothing I enjoy more than talk of conspiracy. Did the ambassador have a manifesto? They usually have manifestos. No matter. I trust you resolved it. Splendid. I'll allow you the honour of informing Prince Naemon. Why not tell him the duly selected High Elf ambassador was working against the very dominion she pledged to support? I'll sit in my throne and try not to gloat.
I heard what you said to the king. Ambassador Tarinwe, a traitor, my wife's killer, a loyal servant, and I, Queen Iren's representative in Eldenroot, required to thank you for your efforts. Very well. I'll provide no reason to question my duty to the Dominion. We'll interrogate Ambassador Tarinwe until we know the extent of her treason. Then she'll die, as all traitors must. But no matter. Your efficiency in resolving this matter was commendable, and the Dominion rewards its servants. Ambassador Tarinwe's betrayal could not have been more absolute. She knew the details of the ratification ceremony, which puts Queen Iren at risk. It's my sister's own fault. She thought to appease the Sylvanar and the Main by agreeing to this foolish process. The ratification ceremony ends with the orrery, an ancient device beneath Eldenroot. It will divine Queen Iren's capacity to become Empress, or some such. But Ambassador Tarinwe assisted in the preparations. I must assume she tried to sabotage the proceedings. Doing so would make Queen Iren look weak. No, we must proceed. You've proven your competence, so I'll ask you to speak with Melaras. He's an expert on the orrery and knows what must be done. Quite pleasant, once you grow accustomed to the smell. The preparations for this ratification ceremony seem endless, but I'm up to the task.
Please don't mind Prince Naemon. Ambassador Tarinwe's betrayal is a shock to us all. But no matter, the orrery must work flawlessly for the Queen. That's what we will ensure. Enough to be of service. The orrery hasn't functioned as intended for ages. We planned to use some rather delicate magic to trick it into operation. But if Prince Naemon believes there was sabotage, we must look to an alternative method. Why, we'll look to the past. According to legend, the orrery required a skilled operator, an alien source of power, and a divine spark before it would function. Without all three, it won't do anything but spin. Quite pretty, but not very useful. The heart of a numeral originally brought life to the orrery, according to the texts. It long ago went missing. But a member of the local mages guild named Larinalda theorizes it's in a local Ayleid ruin. She's currently at the Reliquary of Stars, seeking the heart of a numeral. Wonderful! Have anything you find sent directly to the orrery. Once everything is in place, we can begin the ratification ceremony. And do refrain from referring to Conservator Daraneth as a missing element.
What do you have there? A book? This book? It's written in Akaviri. This is wonderful. Nobody here will be able to find the source of my stories if they're written in another language. My Akaviri is a bit stale, but I think I can manage. You're welcome to stay for my performance. But the god of the forest was no fool. Approaching the dwindling, sickly wood elves and noting their grass-stained teeth, the flame offered them a deal.
Would you look at that line? We're drawing more people than in Auradon. We'll perform our hearts out. The wood elves will see there's more to the Somerset Isles than stuffy politicians. Return any time you wish. If there's enough call for it, we may have new performances to share.